So retaining your seed causes you to look at women way differently and you'll never go back. Okay. So I don't care if you're a guy who's been addicted to PMO for a while, right? And that means, adult websites. So corn, I can't say the word because, YouTube, corn, um, masturbation and orgasm. So it's one of those things, guys. If you've been addicted to that stuff for a long time and you start retaining, it's going to help clear your mind, bro. Even if you're a guy who doesn't watch that stuff, but you just want to be, a better version of yourself, retention's the way of doing it because after a while of retaining, guys, yeah, you go through initially a streak where you're like, oh my God, I'm just so freaking damn horny all the time. And you're just like wanting to approach women, this and that. But eventually you get through that and you're like, okay, well, I want to keep benefiting from retention. I don't want to relapse on just any girl. I want to meet women and see who they actually are. That's a beautiful thing, retention, guys. It makes you see through just a pretty face, a fat ass, fucking nice tits, like all this stuff that all of us guys, want. We're hardwired in our brain, if you're a straight male, to look at these things and love these things and, whatever you want to reproduce. It's normal, guys. It's completely normal. And stop being ashamed of that shit. However, beautiful thing about retention, guys, it like makes it so you're almost like detox of that stuff. It's like, cool, she's got a pretty face, but I wonder how she is as a person. Is she a cool person? Is she someone who I want to, spend time with, spend my money with, or is she someone who's just a fucking not a great person, I'm not saying women are not great. I love women. I go and imagine how bad a world will be without women, besides the whole sexual part. But it's just like I like their vibes, I like, their energy, this and that. But it makes you more selective, okay? And that's what we all need. I think that's what this society needs in general. I'm not perfect. I'm saying this through my own experience and my own, look at myself and my own actions and stuff. I think more selection in my past life of women would have been an amazing thing. It's never gonna be a bad thing, guys, unless you're the type of guy who is like, oh, she's got to be a perfect 10 and, this and that. Bro, that's the type of shit that you start thinking when you start watching a lot of adult websites. You start thinking you need women to be perfect. You start thinking really weirdly, but when you get past that, cleanse your mind of that shit. Start retaining. You start looking at women more of like who they are. Who are they? Is she just a pretty face? Is she someone who I could spend my time with? Is this a good person? And guys and girls too. You even start sensing the vibe you get off men you meet. Like a guy who you may potentially want to be friends with. You're like, okay, is he a cool dude? Or even a business partner or something. You start being more picky on who they are, and it's a beautiful thing for everyone, man. It's not like don't be rude to people, don't look down upon people. However, I think just having low standards kind of isn't great for people either, man. So it's a beautiful thing about retention, guys. It makes it more you're more picky with yourself, more picky with the outside world, more selective, in a good sense. So if you're a guy who's struggling with maybe unrealistic thoughts about women, unrealistic expectations, retaining your seed is going to help out. At least it does with me, guys. This is all through my own experience, through practicing retention on and on again, over and over again, short streaks, long streaks, no streaks, whatever. Whenever I start retaining again, it's one of those things where I am always, after a certain point, looking at women not as just like a piece of, poon, not something I can stick my fucking dick in, but something rather I can be like, okay, you know, can I just spend time with this person besides all that stuff? Is this someone who I think I actually vibe with? Not saying that I'm perfect, not saying that every woman is dying to fucking be with me because they're fucking not. But, is this a person, you got to be selective, You can't just have anything that crosses your fucking plate. You can't just, any woman you meet, you can't just be dying to stick your dick in, okay? You gotta just be all right, cool. I like these type of girls, but she has to, have a certain personality where, she's a nice girl, she's respectful, this and that, and I think you're gonna do better. Okay. Anyways, guys, shoot me a text 786-897-4754. Peace.